we had our weekend. It was great. Monday comes and, I talked to my husband about like, I don't want to take the subway there. I'd like to take a taxi because, it wasn't hot while we were there, but it was warmer. I mean, it was probably like in like the high 70s. And I was like, I wanted to be fresh, right? If I'm going to go to the FSH store and if I have an appointment, like I want to look nice. I want to, be presentable, whatever. I don't want to walk in like having, walked however many blocks from a metro station and whatever. Anyway, and he was like, that's fine. So then in the morning when before we went downstairs, when we were getting ready, he's like, oh, by the way, the concierge is actually going to go with us. And I was like, okay. So I was like, that's interesting. And to be honest, that actually sounded like a little hopeful. Like I was sort of like, oh, okay, well, if he's going with us, like maybe that's a good sign. Like, I don't know why, but I just was like, okay, well, at least he speaks French fluently. So maybe that alleviated my whole concern about like who to ask for, where to go. But again, I still didn't know whether we had a leather appointment. He, got a taxi for us and we went in the taxi and arrived at FSH. We probably got there like maybe like 5 minutes before our appointment time. And we walk in and, of course, there's the like security person who's standing at the door. And we walked in and then there was a man and a woman, I think. And the concierge, spoke in French to the guy and the woman that were standing there. And I heard our last name spoken, so I knew he must have been saying something like, oh, I'm here with, the blank family or whatever, and whatever. I didn't understand another word he said. The only thing I understood was our last name. So I thought, okay. And then the guy, I'm trying to remember if he like looked at something but put it this way, there at least seemed to be recognition. Okay. There wasn't like, what in the world are you talking about? Who in the heck are you? Like it seemed good. So I'm feeling a little more hopeful, just slightly more hopeful. So we went to the table. The concierge was still with us, and my husband asked where the restroom was. And so then he left and went to the restroom. So I was basically standing at that table, and a very nice young woman came over and introduced herself. I don't remember her name, I apologize. But super sweet. She had just come back from vacation. And so, was chatting with her about, where she went and did she have a nice time and, building the rapport, right? I'm doing what we all read about on the purse forum, etc. So she and I were chatting, super nice. So then my husband came back and like I said, this woman was there. And then it had been maybe like about 5 or 10 minutes that I had been chatting with her. And then all of a sudden, this other woman walks up to the table. We're still standing in that same area. So the person that I was chatting with introduces me to this young woman. We'll call her Julie. And she's like, Julie will be helping you today. And I felt so defeated because I was like, but I was just bonding with you but I like you and I felt like we were connecting and all those things that you want to do. And so I was like, oh gosh, okay. We started moving away from that table and she starts basically like kind of almost giving us a tour. So she was like, and silks and whatever are over there. And on the other side is, women's ready to wear. And I am now thinking to myself, is this what my appointment is? Like a tour of the store? Because that's not what I came for. So I think my husband sort of sensed that I was getting a little anxious and a little worried. And so I think we had paused. We were kind of near the staircase in the middle. And he said, we're here because we're going to be celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary. And, my wife would really like a birkin. she was like, oh, okay, well, let's go upstairs and, you can tell me what you're interested in. So then I was like, okay, whew, like maybe this really is a leather appointment, right? So we go upstairs, and for those of you who are familiar with FSH, we went into where the fine jewelry is. So when you get up on the next floor, I believe it's to your right. And there was one couple in there that was talking to an SA. I believe they were looking at watches. And then our SA, Julie, took us over to, there was a couch and a chair and a coffee table there right near the windows. And so we sat down and she said, so, what is it that you're looking for? So I got out my phone because I had, made a list ahead of time. So I was prepared, and I said, my dream bag would be a Birkin 30 in Togo leather. I said probably my first choice would be black with gold hardware. I said next would be gold with either gold or palladium hardware. And then I think next I listed some grays that I would be interested, and then I listed some what I would call like white neutrals or cream neutrals, nada, beton, cray, obviously, which everybody loves cray. And I think that was about it. And then I did say, would love a pink sakura if that was available, kind of jokingly knowing that, that probably wasn't going to happen. So anyway, so she was taking notes on her phone, and she said, okay, so, let me just read this back to you so I make sure that I have it all correct. And she read everything back, and it was exactly what I had told her. And she said, okay, well, just go ahead and wait here and I'll go see what I can find. My husband and I are sitting on the couch, and that's when I said to him, I said, okay, so here's the deal. I said, if she takes a while and she comes back and asks us to follow her to another room, like a isolated area where people can't see, I said, that's a good sign. I said, if she comes back quickly and she doesn't want us to follow her, that's not a good sign. So in the meantime, there then was an SA and a female customer, who was then kind of back behind us in the back corner. And I saw that she was getting offered, I think it was a Blue Nuit Birkin in, I think, a 30. And then she was also looking at a Constance. I didn't see the Constance, but I heard her talking about it. But the Blue Nuit one I know for sure, because they brought it over to the window, which is, like I said, we were sitting right near the windows, and she wanted to see the color in natural light. It was a beautiful bag. So I was like, okay, well, people are getting offers. And I was surprised that she was getting offers in that room. Because like I said, there was another couple that was looking at watches at the table next to us. And then, we were sitting at the couch and chair. So probably about 20 minutes or so, I would say about 20 minutes went by, and Julie came back, and she had a large box with her, and she had a box that was sort of the equivalent size of a shoe box. She comes over and she sits down. And I was like, oh gosh, she's not asking us to follow her anywhere. She's just gonna show us whatever she has right there. So of course my heart sinks, because I think, she, I don't know, brought a Lindy or something, and nothing wrong with a Lindy. It's a beautiful bag. It's not exactly my favorite, but it's not what I wanted, right? I was there specifically for a Birkin. That's just been my number one dream bag. So anyway, so she sets the boxes down and she moves the smaller one out of the way. And she says, well, I think you'll be happy with what I found. So like I said, she moves the smaller box away, and she has this box in her hand. And she said, I think you'll be happy with what I found. And so I'm just kind of shaking, and I'll show you what it is that she found for me. So obviously this is not a true unboxing. This is April of 2022 that I'm filming. Actually, it's May, technically May 1st. Okay, how do people do this on camera? Okay, there we go. So you can see the tissue paper, and like I said, this is not a true unboxing. I've used this bag many times since we got back and got the bat refund, all that. And if you guys want, actually I have a pretty good story about the bat refund. I had an issue, so maybe that would be a good other video to film because it didn't go as smoothly as I hoped. So anyway, as you can see, there's the dust bag. Out, and you can see what's in it. It's obviously still got its pillow, and there's the ribbon and the felt it came with, and its raincoat is in there. I've never used the raincoat yet, but. So pause the video if you want to take a guess as to what I got. It was something I asked for, I will tell you that. So anyway, to reveal, it is a black Togo leather B30, Birkin 30, and it is beautiful. So as you can see, I have one twilly on here. I did not get that actually at the store. I'll tell you the rest of the story, but that's the back. I don't know what that is that I'm busy with, figure out what that is. I do have a 7RP insert in here. I can show you that. And in the insert, I actually like keep, I wonder what that's interesting. Oh, you know, now I know what that is. That's the clochette and key. I'm not a big fan of having those on the bag. I don't know, it's just me. Anyway, so you can see I got the gold, let me take this like pillow thingy out. So I got the gold insert just because black is black, right? And it's hard to see things that are in your bag. So anyway, she's beautiful. She's perfect. I started crying a little when she opened it. But yeah, it's the exact specs that I asked for. The technically noir Togo in a Birkin 30 with gold hardware. So anyway, my husband was so excited. Guess I'll put her down. So excited for me. And then she asked if there was anything else that I wanted to look at. So we did look at some scarves. I did buy, just a standard, in fact, you can see the box back there, a 90 by 90 silk scarf. And then I did ask if she had any rodeos, because I thought, well, I don't know if I'm a rodeo person. I might take a look at them. So we went over to the small leather goods section, and they didn't have a great selection, but she did bring out, it was a Rose Extreme PM size rodeo. So I did buy that. I don't really like it though on the bag. So, but I did go ahead and buy that. So those were the three. So the three things that I purchased was the Birkin, and then the scarf, and then the rodeo. So that was it. But she was like, is there anything else you want? And I had looked at some shoes when I was there that Friday before, and they just did not have any of the sizes that I was looking for in any of the shoes. So we did go back up to the shoe department, and unfortunately they hadn't gotten any more stock. I do have to say, I would really recommend Mondays. She said it's actually one of the best days to go because it's quiet. Like obviously everyone comes on the weekends and it's super crazy and insane. And I have to say there weren't a whole lot of people there on that Monday. Obviously I guess maybe one might worry about stock levels on a Monday because, if they haven't gotten shipment in prior to you getting there, then obviously, Sunday they're closed. So they may not have received stock prior to you arriving if they kind of sold out on Saturday. But to be honest with you, I think they always have stock. I think it's just a matter of, whether or not they want to give you a bag and, offer you a bag. So anyway, it was an amazing, amazing experience. She gave us her card. I think what was different about my experience, aside from the fact that obviously this was all arranged by the concierge at our hotel, was that, and I noticed this when we went on Friday to the store, is that essays don't stay with you at that store. So like, for example, the first thing I did when I went that Friday was I went up to the shoe department, and a lovely essay helped me up there. Like I said, unfortunately, they didn't have any shoes that I was looking for in my size, and they didn't have any even in any part of Paris. And so then I wanted to look at some costume jewelry, and so she took me downstairs, but she handed me off then to another sales associate who worked within the costume jewelry department. So what was unusual about Julie is that she took me everywhere. She was almost like a personal shopper, I guess. And I don't know what her official title is. I mean, I guess it's on her card. I should look at that. But yeah, so that part was a little bit different. I don't know if it was because of how we got our appointment, that's why I had, like I said, somebody who was sort of dedicated to me and took me everywhere. Because I don't think that that's what normally happens when you have a leather appointment. I think even when you have a normal leather appointment, and please correct me if I'm wrong, those of you in the comments, tell me if I'm mistaken, but I would venture to guess that when you have a leather appointment, you meet with that leather sales associate, and then if you want to go look at shoes or anything else, they probably hand you off again to somebody who works in the shoe department. But again, I could be wrong, so please correct me in the comments below. So like I said, an amazing, amazing experience. This was kind of my day to shop. My husband had sort of allowed me to, not allow, that sounds like a horrible word, but he was totally fine with me making this like my shopping day. So we went to several other boutiques and made some other purchases, which I can share with you in another video. But just to kind of explain, so after we got back to the hotel, my husband was so grateful to the concierge and to the general manager, and he, wrote them both a very nice thank you note and how grateful we were to, have gotten to have this experience and for their help. So it turns out the reason why the concierge never answered our questions is because he actually wasn't 100% sure that this was like going to happen. Not that it wasn't going to happen, like he did make the appointment, but I guess this was the first time he had ever done this. And apparently he like pulled major strings with some of his other, so he belongs to like this, I don't know if it's like a secret society, but it's like this society of concierge, I think in France. And so he, I think, sort of leaned on some of those contacts that he had in order to make this appointment. So I feel extremely, extremely lucky and blessed because, like I said, we tried for 5 days, both of us. Neither of us got an appointment. So had I not had this angel of a concierge help, I wouldn't have come home with my dream bag. So anyway, that's my story. Like I said, very, very unique. It's not how most people get it. I didn't, like I said, I didn't get an appointment through the lottery. I didn't go in and ask for any cancellation or, tried to buy a whole bunch of things and then asked, oh, I am looking for a bag. Is there any way you can, get me an appointment? Didn't do that either. So I think my story is kind of unusual. I think it may reflect somebody's story many years ago. I think, like I said, when maybe the American Express concierge program was still in existence, or the concierge program is still in existence, but I just mean that they were able to secure appointments for you. So you didn't have to basically wait in line, right? Because that was the old way of doing it, right? Everybody lined up in the morning and, you know, they just gave out appointments to those people who were in line. So I think that was when that whole kind of American Express thing was in play. So anyway, like I said, that's my story. I would love to hear your Paris stories if you have any, if you want to share those in the comment section down below. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to drop, like I said, a comment below and I will try to get back with everybody. But yeah, so that's my story. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate all of you. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.